大家记住，只要国内那边跟共产党翻脸，在美国像单伟建这样的人，10000%回，他的孩子和他都会被美国审理他的钱的去处和来处。单伟建的孩子100%在美国帮他爹从事着洗钱和犯法，他不服他来告我。这是国内的战友告诉我的，整个单氏家族全是中共的在马的间谍特务。我上次就是前天直播没讲到这个正义大家很多问我正义的事情正义呢叫伊恩正，整个那个北京那个案子贷款案子是跟他联系的，还有那个 Chris。那么伊恩正呢，后来就是因为这个单伟建来把他给踢出去了，因为伊恩正这个人还是有良知的人他知道发生了什么。很多人在问我，你为啥不提伊恩正？我说他毕竟是朋友，我不想害伊恩正。伊恩正是被这帮共产党的间谍，还有 Chris 这帮黑社会和海航给逼出局的，他躲在加拿大，他也很害怕。这个人是有良知的人，所以在法庭上作证的时候，我很少提伊恩正，因为我不想让这个人被共产党给灭了，跟王建给弄死我们不像他们那么黑。所以说兄弟们，伊恩正的事情以后好好说说。伊恩正是个关键人物但这人是个好人，但是很窝囊，很懦弱就是挣了钱以后打个高尔夫很爱老婆，跟老婆做个菜，旅游就这点事儿了，不想别的。就当年我这么大的个交易，我给他送了一盒雪茄，他给我送来一箱子雪茄，还送来一个雪茄盒子，雪茄那个冰箱就这么个人绝对是不谈的。很少看到基金界像他这样，单伟建他就是个魔，跟王岐山、康点田国立、田慧宇像这个艾文江他们这都是吃人的魔，吃人不吐骨头的。但是伊恩这人真的不错。这个正义说过，这帮 Chris 还有他的几个创始人，包括单伟建，都是他们流氓都是骗子，全都是骗子这都说过，在庭上我都没说，但是这个庭会一直开下去。所以大家往回看一看，我们所有受到共产党攻击，还 BOI 公司还有媒体的攻击的时候， PAG 就会开庭， PAG 就会在关键的时刻收拾你。这又弄到了我们的中国的春节的大年初一2月2号要听审你觉得又是偶然吗？不是偶然。大家看看阿里巴巴还有中概股跌成这个样子，想想共产党的特务头子单伟建被委托为阿里巴巴审计员，这是个什么概念？大家想到吗？阿里巴巴马云被消失了，阿里巴巴是共产党给抢走了。阿里巴巴最关键的时候派出了共产党最像叫 PAG 太平联盟做审计员。大家一定要记住，过去买过所有在英国 PAG 金融产品的，还有现在投资过 PAG 和金融产品的，一定记住七哥说的话，未来 PAG 和单伟建一定终身待在监狱里。记住，给你们 N 倍的索赔回来。PAG 就是共产党的金融诈骗机构，整个太平联盟就是共产党的金融诈骗机构，整个单伟建全家都是共产党的传统性的专业的特务。我们会让美国人知道到底谁在偷美国人的养老保险，到底在当时的英国上市的太平联盟和所有的他所拥有的所有的海航吴征是不是现在他偷走中国的一个个的房地产中国的军工北方工业都是他投资的。包括此时此刻他们在帮共产党在深圳在海南所有的做的恶。当然这样爆料革命的攻击还有什么他曾经的整个的这个微妙的整个的 HBO 他这种投资的关系，偷的美国养老保险，还有当年的腾讯音乐，买了过去腾讯音乐的在那等着一定告死他们他不可能整个美国都被他给强奸了，也不可能整个美国人都被他欺骗了我们一定要让美国和世界看到单伟建 PAG Pass 这个诈骗金融集团是共产党的伸向美国西方养老基金的一个最厉害打手之一所以说单伟建被出任为共产党统治的阿里巴巴审计员，意味着什么
？Who is the mysterious all-cash buyer? Sean Bowe, a CCP spy. Sean Bowe, in his mid-30s, has already owned 2 mansions worth more than $10 million each. One of the mansions resides in Brentwood, Los Angeles, California, purchased with $19.7 million in an all-cash deal in 2019, a huge purchase. The other is located in the luxury town of Atherton, California, purchased in 2016 for $16.4 million, without much public record. The source said that Bo Shan is a member of the Chinese Communist Party and a spy. Bo Shan is the only child of Shan Weijian, a real tycoon in the financial world. Shan Weijian is not only a Chinese economist but also a venture capitalist, currently serving as the chief executive officer and chairman of the private equity fund PAG Group, managing $45 billion in assets. After the Cultural Revolution, Shan Weijian was among the first group of students sent to the United States to study on a Chinese state-sponsored program. He is also a Chinese special agent and a white glove with close ties to many CCP top officials, including Wang Qishan, a member of the kleptocracy group, and cheered as the most powerful man by the Davos crowd. Shan Weijian graduated from the University of California, Berkeley, and has intertwined among American political and business celebrities. He used to be a faculty member at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania for 6 years. In 2020, he publicly supported the Hong Kong version of the national security law, claiming that under the leadership of the CCP, Hong Kong is still a free society. At the same time, Shan Weijian actively promoted the CCP's espionage program to steal advanced science teaching and technology, the 1,000 Talents program. The 1,000 Talents program, launched by the CCP in 2008, has scientific and technological talents educated abroad to transfer foreign technology, intellectual property, and advanced scientific research to China through illegal activities. Many scientists fell victim to the program, including the late Stanford tenured professor Shousheng Zhang and Harvard professor Charles Lieber, who pleaded guilty in the United States. Bo Shan, the founder of the hedge fund Gobi Capital LLC, joined Gobi Capital on August 1, 2009, and owned more than 75% of the equity. However, only 8 clients in Gobi Capital, $1.84 billion in total assets, were under management. The entire shareholding of Gobi Capital has increased nearly 40 times during the 5 years from 2016 to 2021. The shocking increase has been related to the support from CCP and Shan Weijian's illegal money laundering activities in the United States. Gobi Acquisition, a special purpose acquisition company, SPAC, established by Shan Weijian's PAG, will list on NASDAQ under the code GOBI, further disrupting the U.S. financial order. The most significant investments in Gobi Capital include the media and entertainment industry, such as Facebook, Netflix, and Alphabet, with a total of $1.44 billion, exceeding 50% of the total amount. Thus, it lays the foundation for the CCP to control the U.S. media and entertainment world further. Please share the video and fight for truth and justice.
Hello, my fellow fighters. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my show here. I'm Edward, and we have Poplar and SP joining us. We're talking about a special topic, which is Shan Weijian, the fixer of CCP. Okay, we're going to talk about all the conducts he's been doing, how he stole the money from the U.S. Okay, so you guys be ready. But let's welcome SP to our program.
Thank you, Edward. Hello, my name is SP. It's short for Super Porcupine. That's my Getter handle. I'm glad to be on the show with Edward and Poplar. So thank you.
And of course, our show cannot go on with Poplar. Poplar, come on, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Poplar, and this is my first English talk and discussion. So if there are any like pronunciation mistakes or grammar mistakes. So just skip it. Okay, Edwards.
No worry. I think our friends will love it, right? So no matter what we say, it's like what we do is for everybody to disclose the truth. So we only focus on the facts and the truth, right, SP?
That's right, Edward. Right on.
Okay, awesome. Popular prepared some well done PowerPoint for us to go on. Popular, would you present your work, please?
Okay, let's show our audience the first slides. Okay, please. Yeah, this slide is just to give our very clear idea about the lawsuit case between PAG and the company PAX and Mr. Miles Gore. So from this figure, we can know the PAX is the plaintiff and Miles Gore is the defendant, and the Paul Hastings is the law firm's represented the PAX. One of directors for in the Paul Hastings is Jia Yan. He is a member of Chinese Communist Party. So do you believe this American law firm can really represent justice and the truth? At the same time, this case began in 2017, just before Miles Gore's broadcast on Voice of America. So the case has lasted more than 5 years. So what do you guys think about Miles Gore's bankruptcy case? So SP, please.
Yeah, thank you, Poplar. Yeah, so this case, I think it's definitely a sentinel case in the sense that it will expose not only how the CCP steals U.S. pension funds, but also the corruption of the U.S. Judicial system. And as Poplar has alluded to just now, Paul Hastings' law firm has very deep ties with the CCP. So can we really know that Paul Hastings and its lawyers have the best interests, have America's best interest in heart? And I think the answer is quite obvious. With this case, I believe Miles Gore also wants the world to know the evilness and the deception of the CCP. And he also wants to give a voice to the Chinese people who are oppressed by the CCP. Because PAG not only takes and steals money, the blood and sweat money from the Chinese people, but also from Americans as well. And I believe that Mr. Miles Gore also wants the world to know that the CCP does not equal the Chinese people and does not represent the Chinese people. It's very analogous to World War II, the Nazi Germany. The Nazi party does not represent the German people, and same thing here. The CCP does not represent the Chinese people. And lastly, I think this case also shows that the CCP is a cancerous tumor that needs to be removed, or the body dies. It is very important, very urgent, and that's why Mr. Miles Gore has fought long and hard since 2017 over the past 5 years with countless resources and energy and time, because he wants to expose the truth, and he wants the world to know the truth about the CCP. So yeah, so those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Yes, well said. I think CCP is the cancer tumor, right? It has to be removed as soon as possible, because if you delay any longer, it's going to do more damage, not only to the Chinese people, to the people in the whole world, right? what they've done so far, they tried to colonize the whole world, right? Using the money from the West. And the Shan is the fixer. And we're going to disclose more information on that part.
Right. Poplar, back to you.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys just talk about Wei Jianshan, but for me, the interesting thing is the Paul Hastings, American law firm. You know, the Paul Hastings is one of the best law firms in China, but the real Chinese lawyers who wants to pursue justice and truth are being persecuted or imprisoned in China. How can American law firm can be the best law firm in China? Do you think it's a common sense for to you guys? Okay, SP, please.
Right. So I think you brought up a very good point. I think definitely not. I think a firm like Paul Hastings, which has taken CCP money and has basically been working with them and for them for such a long time. And let's not forget, PAG ultimately answers to Wang Qishan, a very high-ranking official in the Chinese Communist Party. So the fact remains that Paul Hastings and law firms like Paul Hastings definitely do not represent the best interests of the American people or of the American justice system. And if they don't stop what they're doing right now, they will pay the price because justice eventually will be served, and what goes around comes around. Yeah, I do believe that retribution is coming for law firms like Paul Hastings. Edward?
I like your projection. Retribution is coming. So I all agree. I think justice, especially American justice, is a pillar of the whole society, democratic society, and the whole people in the world, they admire the transparency, right, the independence of American justice system, right. Before the infiltration of CCP, I don't think even a single American would think that it's justice system could be corrupted by a foreign power. But by looking at how Paul Hastings' behavior and its activities tangled with CCP, I don't think people can be confident to say that anymore. Do you agree, SP?
Definitely, yeah.
This is go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do believe that many Americans right now, whether you can see them on Twitter or on Getter, a lot of them, they are very disappointed in the American justice and judicial system. Many Americans believe the Supreme Court has been corrupted and does not represent the best interest of this nation. And if the Supreme Court can be corrupted or even bought for, then a law firm like Paul Hastings is definitely not out of the question. And if the judicial system is no longer working as it should, then anyone can buy justice, their version of justice, with money or with any things like the BGY plan from the Chinese Communist Party, the blue, gold, and yellow, which is money and power and even sex, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
No, you go on. You will say Well put. I think the judicial system is the last defense, right? Without a robust, transparent, and health, everything else is decimal, basically.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything. America become a third world country, right? If you look at the rest of the world, even though it has the money, has the power, but it doesn't have, if it doesn't have a transparent, healthy judicial system, then it's nothing.
Exactly.
Back to you, Poplar.
Yeah, because the U.S. judicial system, they had a lot of cases about the CCP's corruption and the BGY plan all these things, what we said, can be proved by the cases from the court and also from FBI. So, I mean, some people maybe if they have they are sensitive to some news, they already knew the CCP's their dirty tricks in U.S. Judicial system. So yeah, so let's come to the second question. Why Wei Jianshan was chosen to be white glove of the Chinese Communist Party? So please give your opinion. Okay, SP, please.
Thank you, Poplar. I have two short thoughts about this question. So one, the fact that Shan Weijian is a top spy working for the Chinese Communist Party, and the fact that he was part of the 1,000 talent plan, which was launched all the way back shortly after the Cultural Revolution in China. The fact that he was part of that, and then that he was a spy that was sent to the U.S. To do the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party to infiltrate the CCP. To infiltrate the U.S. That shows that the CCP has been very methodical and calculated from the beginning in infiltrating the U.S. And also shows that CCP is not your friend. They may give you money or fame or anything you want right now, but in the end, they will gut you like a pig. Once you're plump and ready to be eaten. And when they're done with you, there won't be any bones left. So they will pick the carcass clean. There won't be anything left. That's how ruthless and how evil the CCP is. And I think Shan, he was just one of the many such spies that were sent to the U.S. and really all over the world, to Europe, to Middle East, to Africa, to really infiltrate, to disrupt the sovereign system of that nation, and to basically do the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party to fulfill their wish and their dream of world domination. So yeah, so those are my thoughts. And Edward, do you have any thoughts on this question?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Shan has been groomed to be a Chinese spy long ago. I think starting when he was chosen to be sent here on the state-sponsored program in the early 80s, right? Everybody knew that at that time, few Chinese could even get a passport, let alone be sent to U.S. Right? So he came with a purpose, and that purpose is very obvious these days. Like you said, he is sent here to do bidding for the CCP. And over the years, I think he has developed this vast infiltrate U.S. every system of the U.S. to do the damage. We all know that Chinese are very good at planning long-term strategy. Just like the art of a war says, the long-term strategy is the key to the winning. So the CCP has taken this from the playbook, and that they have been targeting U.S. for a long time. Unfortunately, the U.S., the society, the government is naive to its gameplay of the CCP. I think they're finally waking up. Hopefully it's not too late. Back to you, Poplar.
Okay. Due to, I think there are a lot of, we can ask a lot of questions about the shining CV of Shine, but we don't discuss the details in our show. But as I totally agree with you guys, the CCP has a long-term strategy to destroy Americans' legal system and every other and equal and other system. But I mean, for in Shan Shan had a degree of top university in U.S. Then he manipulate the celebrities in U.S. like government officials and business tycoons in USA. Then to laundering money and to do other illegal activity in USA. So what's your point about these things? Okay, SP, please.
Yeah, thank you, Poplar. Yeah, so I think Shan is definitely, he was sent to the US with a purpose, with a mission, very well groomed and very well prepared by the Chinese Communist Party to carry out his mission. He even taught at the Wharton School of Business in University of Pennsylvania. He was faculty there for, I think, 6 years, and he graduated from UC Berkeley for his undergrad. So you can see how careful the CCP is in cultivating him. And Wharton School of Business, for those who are not familiar, is a top ranking business school in the US. And if you go to Wharton, then you will have a lot of doors open for you. You can work on Wall Street. You can work for the top ranking hedge funds or the investment banks in the country, and the network that you will have is even is top notch in the U.S. So the fact that he's been so well versed with the American financial system makes him a very dangerous man. And then as we can see from the PAG-PAX case, he has proven his lethality to the U.S. Financial system and also to the judicial system, as we have seen with the Paul Hastings firm. So those are some of my thoughts. Edward, do you have any thoughts?
You got that right. None part. Right? So he definitely is high up in society after he knows he has all the, he knows very important people. Look, when he wrote the right, that in the school, and I recently was giving a presentation also to Berkeley. That these fabulous raised experience does not cover his true purpose and who he is. He is a spy CCP. He is here to. So basically, what I view him, he is a wolf under the sheep's clothing, right?
That's right.
Does that sound right to you? That's
Yep. It's very, very well said, Edward.
And then I think he, over the years, has built a very strong foundation also. But it takes time to disclose the facts, right? To let everybody knows the truth about it. So the sooner, the better we start working on this.
That's right.
So, yeah. So I just want to mention one thing, like the investment of Wei Jianshan and his son Bo Shan, their investment also in the media industry, because they also want to control the voice, so this is why we discuss this topic in our show, because we want to more and more people, they can learn the truth, and we want to make our voice and our thoughts can be heard by the American people. Okay, let's go to the third question. So this is about the disclosure, because we public disclose the information about Sean and his family, including their home addresses, by the new federal state of China. So because you guys live and work in USA for such a long time, so what do you think about these things, about civil rights, about privacy? Okay, SP, please.
Yeah, thank you, Poplar. Yeah, so I think by revealing their address and by posting their pictures, we as the new federal state of China, we're hoping to raise awareness by such disclosure. We want the American people to know that Shambo is a CCP spy like his father, and he is stealing from the American people's pensions. As for Leanne, who is Shan's daughter, it's ironic that while she's studying social impairment in individuals at risk for psychosis, the inhumane zero COVID policy happening in China right now is driving many people crazy to the point of committing suicide. We will never know the true number of people who have committed suicide as a result of the zero COVID policy, but rest assured, there are many of them. And will Leanne help them? Will she fight for them against the CCP regime? Will she give them a voice? I think most likely not. So that's just a big irony to me. And so for Shan's children, for Bo and Leanne, I have pity for them. In some sense, they will have to bear the burden of their father's crime and what he has done. After all, they did benefit from the blood and sweat money his father made. However, they also have a choice, right? They can choose to stand with their father, or they can choose to stand against him. And Shambo, he has decided to stand with his father. He also started his investment fund, Gobi Capital, which has, I think, about 1.8 $8 billion for asset under management. And Gobi Capital, like Poplar has mentioned, is a big stakeholder in companies like Facebook, like Alphabet and Netflix, with a total of 1.4 billion. And this investment is more than 50% of the total investment of Gobi Capital. If the CCP has such a great control over the American entertainment and media industry, just think about the messages that you are receiving when you watch Netflix, when you go on Google, when you go on Facebook. Just think about that. And then so back to Lian, I have mentioned that Shambo has decided to stand with his father. For Lian, I'm not sure which side she's on. And all I can say is that Bo and Lian, if you're watching this, it's not too late. You can still make the right decision and stand against the CCP. And as for Shan Wei Jen, if you're watching, you know very well how miserable you will be if you continue down this path. Do the right thing for once in your life. Join the new federal state of China and help us take down the CCP. If not for yourself, then do it for your family. So thank you. And I will turn it over to Edward. Edward?
Well said, SP. I think a lot like the last sentence you said, your call out to Shan, ask him to turn over, right? Working for the Chinese people. Actually, it may save him, right? Speaking of the 1,000 elites program, do you know who else was in the program? Also died later on. Remember Stanford for John Window a few years back? Zhang Shouchen, 是不是? He was also in the 1,000 elite program. And he was considered the candidate for the next Nobel Prize in physics. But look what happened to him. He was considered at least the top academician in Stanford. But he died at the age of 50-ish. What a tragedy. What happened to his kids? Right? But now it's unfortunate that there's right? When at war, they are the casualties. It's not done by us, by their father. He supposedly no AIDS, but his activity had a negative impact. That's correct. Suicide too. So who need to be not Shan blamed? He needs to take the responsibility for his actions. He should be ashamed of helping the CCP, looting the money, like I mentioned earlier, right? Looting billions of U.S. pensions, specifically CalPERS pensions, to China. You know how the system works, right? Chinese on the market, welcoming the Western world, but stealing their technology. In the same time, they got the money infusion from Wall Street, especially from these pension funds, to build its military operations, right? To build its program, its own citizens spy on U.S. soil in other countries. So the people's money to do the bidding also. And the Shan is one. So we need to explore more people like it, not less. Back to you, Poplar.
Okay. Yeah, I think I totally agree with you guys. The evil things have done by Shan, his family his family member cannot fix it, or they can do other things. But they still have, the family members still have the choice. They can choose the right side or they can choose wrong side. I mean, the final fate is doomed for Shan, but his daughter and his son still has a choice to correct some fatal mistakes in their lives, even though they benefit from the blood money, but they still have choice. So yeah, so if you have choice, so please do the right thing. Okay, let's go to the question 4. So this is the mansions worth tens of thousands of dollars in California. So this is also belongs to Sunball. So all 2 mansions, the right one is the Sunburst mansion. So because they pay the full price with cash. So can you imagine this is a normal thing in USA? SP, please.
Yeah, thank you, Poplar. Yeah, looking at those 2 beautiful houses or mansions, one is $16 million, and then the other one is $19 million. And let's not forget, Shambo purchased them in 2016 and 2019 cash. Okay, no mortgage, cash, straight cash, and he is in his mid-30s. I don't know if any average American in his mid-30s being able to afford a $16 million and a $19 million mansion. So definitely not normal. And I believe this is basically Shan's doing and also Shambo's doing, like father, like son. As I mentioned before, Shambo has been working with his father in defrauding the hard-working American people of their pensions. He started the Gobi Capital, which has $1.8 billion under management, and he has definitely put that money to through the bidding of the CCP, and he got that money from the American people's pensions as well. And you know, while Shambo, he gets to live in a luxury house, and the average American people are facing rising mortgage rates, right? I mean, as everyone knows, the 30-year mortgage rate has been the highest ever. It's almost 7%. So a lot of people right now cannot afford houses. And so, you know, that's like an average U.S. home, you know, maybe about $350,000. The mortgage rate right now just makes it virtually impossible for people to afford a home like that, let alone a $16 million or $19 million mansion. And this is not right. You know, it's not right that Shambo gets to live in luxury with the blood money of the American and the Chinese people's blood money, while the Chinese people and the American people suffer. And justice needs to be served. That's the bottom line, and that's exactly what Miles Guo is doing with his case against PAG and PAX. He definitely wants justice to prevail. So, Edward, do you have any thoughts on this question?
When I listen to your words, I just hear bling, 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 bling. $16 million, a lot of those here, right?
That's right.
You mentioned that right now, 30 years of mortgage is about close to 7%. I just did a quick calculation on my financial calculator. At 7%, 16 million, okay? The monthly payment will be approximately about $106,000 a month. That's $106,000 a month, not a year. How many people on average on U.S. income making $106,000 a year? But that's the mortgage payment. And how old is he again? 30 something?
Yeah.
I was wondering how he can make that money without his daddy.
That's right.
And he's running a investment fund. Is that a mutual fund or it's a hedge fund? I heard he didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, it's a private equity firm.
It's private equity fund. You know how these funds works, right? The funds of funds, like how Bernie Madoff the fund, funds of fund, right? They talk 2% of the total value of the fund as an investment management fee, and then they also take in about 20% of any gains.
Yeah, for profit sharing. Yep.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. See, and where's the money coming from? Where the money, follow where the money, that's from the public servant, also teachers' pension funds, right? CalPERS. And how much the money that they have lost last year? 400 million something. Poplar, I think you did a program recently mentioning that, correct? You did a great research on that topic. Can you tell our audience how much CalPERS lost?
Actually, I don't have the exactly number of the CalPERS lost money, but seems like the pension from California state is almost $11 billion in USA, in Chinese. The money invested in China. Yeah.
But as an private equity, they don't have to pay you back. Basically, investment is a risky business, right? So the investor beware. Is that correct? But they take 2% up without any fiduciary responsibility. That's how they can afford a big house like that. Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
That's right.
I'm speechless, kind of. Looking at these numbers, it's speechless. These are blood money. These are all dirty. Back to you, Poplar.
Yeah, I think some comments from our audience is like most hardworking Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, like some of the people from California, they even don't mention the buy a house or a mansion. They cannot even rent a house because they depends on the pension or social security to cover their living costs. But Bo can had such a fancy mansion just because of his father. So I think the California people really need to think about these things because the money is yours and the son and his family steal the money from your hands. Okay, so let's go to the question 5. So this is all the PAG investment looted the pensions of different states in USA. So this is the first question. And the second question is what will happen when Americans find out their pensions have been stolen by PAG. Okay, SP, please.
Yeah, thank you, Poplar. So just to summarize for the audience real quick, 2018, there's a total pension fund is $705 million that was invested in PAG, and 2019 is $300 million. In 2020 is $475 million. So total from 2018 to 2020, approximately 1.5 billion, that's with a B, $1.5 billion of pension funds have gone to PAG. And so just to give a real quick background, so how is PAG able to get a hold of the American pension funds? In March 2018, Blackstone, an investment firm with over 430 billion in asset under management, they acquired a minority stake in PAG through its strategic capital holding fund. Okay, and by doing so, Blackstone endorsed PAG as a best-in-class asset manager and opened the American financial market to PAG. And in fact, 7 months after the deal was announced, PAG received investments from California and Maryland pension funds. Okay, and looking at the U.S. as a whole, over the past 20 years, more and more of the 5 trillion with a T, 5 trillion U.S. pension funds have been going to the to various Chinese private equity funds and hedge funds, and then they in turn invest in Chinese stocks like Alibaba. And I did a quick research today. Since October of 2020, Alibaba's share has plunged about 74%. So in other words, for every $4 that you put into your pension fund, you will only get $1 back. And in 2021, talking about how an average American can retire comfortably, right? So in 2021, it would take about $1 million for Americans to retire to a comfortable lifestyle. And in 2022, just over 1 year, okay, over 1 year, that number has gone up by 20% to $1.25 million. So let that sink in. You know, that's like a 20 and even 25% jump, and that's how much true inflation likely is. And then it's not the 8% that you hear from the news. And then, so while American teachers and public servants like firefighters and police officers are dealing with their savings being eaten away by the likely 20% inflation that we have, Shannon and his children are living comfortably in their luxury penthouse paid for by Americans' pension fund. The CCP not only stole money from the American people, they also robbed them of their health with the COVID virus and also with the COVID-19 vaccine. We can talk more about that later on, and then we also have other programs covering that topic. But the bottom line is the American people need to wake up and stand against the CCP because they are destroying your wealth, they are destroying your health. It is your responsibility and your duty to stand up against the CCP. So, Edward, any thoughts?
Okay, so I think besides y'all mentioned the PAG got the pension, then invested to Alibaba, and at the same time, I think the PAG also invested this money into the Evergrande, real estate tycoon in China. Right now, Evergrande Corp has bankruptcy, is on the edge of the bankruptcy. So this money, the pension cannot get any returns from the investment. That means they've already lost their money due to this this wrong. I cannot say wrong, but it's a bad choice of investment, and all these things can the people who live on the pensions lost their money just because of the PAG's investment. If they don't looting the pensions and invest in China, then there is no such a problem. So do you agree with this, Edwards?
Absolutely. The money part. Actually, earlier I lost my voice here. There's a technical difficulty right here. But let me get back to what SP was asking me about. I think the money part is the most important thing, right? We got to follow the money. What I'm going to ask is, where's the beef? Everything is getting so expensive, and the people wallet is getting smaller and thinner, right, SP?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
What's happening here? What happened to the wealth, right? On the both sides. If you're looking at in China, right, the so-called the 30 years miracle, the GDP has ballooned to $1 trillion, becoming China is the number 2 economic power, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the Chinese people, how much money they have, what happened to their money? I was talking to a friend of mine last night. We have an argument about the China. He thinks China has gone through a tremendous development, right? Lifting people from poverty. I say that is very true. But look at the facts, right? Chinese people, they could have done a much more, receive a lot more, right? I give him an example. It's just like I say, if I'm doing business with you, right? Because our business dealing, you are getting $100 a month versus $10,000 a month. You would think, oh, I would do you a favor, right? Oh, great. But later on, you find out that I also hired $1 million from you. Do you still think I'm a good guy? Right? Everything is relative. This is what the CCP has been doing to the Chinese people. Yet they give little crumb to the hardworking people in China. They has created this illusion to the Western world, especially looking from outside in. If they look at the city in Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, these tall skyscrapers, right? They look at the modernized city and say, wow, China, under the leadership of CCP, they have transformed. This is only the partial truth, not the whole truth. We also heard the premier of China mentioning about 600 million people getting a wage of 1,000 RMB a month, which is a little over $150. These are the truths nobody dares to disclose. Wall Street Journal is not printing that story, right? Blackstone is not these figures in his annual report to the investor. No one is doing that because everyone wants to be in bed with the CCP trying to make quick bucks. We, New Pharaoh China, we are the one who only speaking out, letting people know the truth. So again, let's follow the money. Look at the US side, the same thing. Pension funds, these are the cream of butter of the retirement system, correct? these management of the pension fund, they supposed to do a fiduciary duty protecting the assets of these hard-earned dollars. But what happened to these dollars? They are gone. Why? By whom? By the infiltration, by the spy from the CCP, people like Shen. So this is despicable because people are losing money, their hard-earned money for their retirement. That should not be allowed. The government, the Congress should look into that to get a bottom out of this, to find out what happened. The truth only matters. Back to you, Poplar.
Okay, so yeah, I think if the American people get angry for losing their pensions, so please call the Congress or the senator in your states, because the root cause of your losing your pensions is just because like a person like a CCP spy, Wei Jianshan, and also the Chinese government, not the Chinese people. So if you want to make a investigation, if you want to get your money back, or please just call somebody, let them to make a case and do the deep investigate. Okay, the final questions I give you guys is in 2020, Shan openly stood up for the Chinese Communist Party, supported Hong Kong's national security law, and claimed that Hong Kong was still a free society under the CCP's administration. So please give your comments. SP, please.
Yeah, thanks, Poplar. I think Shan will get what he deserves. It's the law of sowing and reaping. He has sown some very bad seeds, and he will reap the bad harvest that's coming to him, and that will catch up to him soon enough. And I believe that Shan, he is only a chess piece in the eyes of the CCP. He is expendable, let's not forget. When CCP has no more use for him, they will discard him, they will harvest him, they will gut him, take his wealth, take his life even, or take away his freedom, just like anyone, just like, you know, what they did to Jack Ma, you know, and I'm pretty sure lots of people know who Jack Ma is, and yeah, he is not doing so well right now. He is basically under constant surveillance by the CCP, and even worse, you know, the CCP could also go after Shan's family, his son Bo and his daughter Lian, if they need to do that to get what they want from Shan. So the bottom line is the CCP is a gigantic meat grinder, and Shan Weijian is a piece of meat. You know, let's be honest. He's not the machine operator. So he may think he is not part of the system, or he can get lucky and get away from it, but he will be ground up just like everyone else within the CCP rank. That's what Xi Jinping wants to do now that he is the emperor of the CCP and then of China. So to you, Edward.
Thank you, SP. I think that's the job he was supposed to do. What else could he say? He works for the Chinese government. He is an agent doing the bidding. So he has to praise his master. All right. But looking, also he gave interview comparing the two societies. But this guy has been living for a long time, right? Last 30, 40 years. So he made his wealth in the US, supposedly, correct? But the way he portrayed is like he is a Chinese living in the US, reaping the benefits of the society, but somehow praising the other society. What kind of person is that? Where is Jesus, right? So that's very obvious that he is the CCP agent staying here doing the biddings. You said very well that he is a piece of meat. He is not a machine. Recently, I watched a documentary about all the Russian, all the fixers. These people thought they had power, but before they knew, they all did one by that one. They were billionaires. 14 of them disappeared. Well, no, dude. She, like I said, he's the emperor. Like Mao Zedong recently disclosed that Chen has a lot more money than anyone is hiding billions of dollars all over the world just by looking at his holding the stake in Netflix, which is worth big dollars, correct? So what if the Chinese government finds out how much money he's from them? Do you think they could pity on him and go? I doubt it. So, like SP said, come to our side. Maybe that's the only way, one way out, or the only way. Back to you, Poplar.
Okay. So as I think, any person who his degree from U.S. top universities, but at the same time, you praised the evil law by the CCP regime. So this conflict fact can give us an idea about who really you are. At the same time, just as SP said, you are just a piece of meat. You are not a machine operator. So your fate is doomed. And also, if the Hong Kong national security law is an evil law, so Hong Kong right now is not totally free. There is no justice in Hong Kong, but Sean still praise and also think it's totally okay as a society under the CCP's regime. So this can give us the fact that he supports the CCP. Okay, Edwards, please give a summary for our show. Okay, please.
Well, thank you so much, Poplar, and thank you, SP, for joining the show. Actually, I have an announcement to make. So the new federal state of China, is going to protest against Shen and his family. So all day, yesterday, today, we have been doing preparation for this action, so this demonstration. So we're gonna make an announcement. So my fellow fighters or friends, stay put. Okay, we're gonna do live streaming of our protest. Okay, so stay put. But again, thanks to our show. SP.
Thank you, Edward. As Edward just said, we, the new federal state of China, we are starting a series of protests, not only against Shan, but then also against his children. And we're also protesting in New York City against Paul Hastings and other entities that are involved in this PAG and PAX case. So please join us if you care about justice, if you care about your pension funds, if you want to stand with us and rid the world of the evil CCP. Please stay tuned. Like Edward said, we will have programs later and then we'll also have announcements later to disclose more details. So it's been my pleasure to be on the show with Edward and Poplar, and then I just want to give a big shout out to both Edward and Poplar, and then to also everyone who's working behind the scene to make this show possible. So, Poplar.
Okay, thank you. Because we care, so we join the new federal state of China. If you care, if you want to take down the CCP, please join us. Okay, Edwards.
Great. Thank you both. And then thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
down the CCP, take down the CCP, 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 take down the 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 CCP, 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 take down the CCP, take down the CCP, take down the CCP.
Take down the CCP, take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Let me tell you what I've been through, baby. Lived a life that was hella unfair. Seen things that been driving me crazy. In a country where the leaders don't care. Didn't think we had the courage to change it. Tore it down and they weren't prepared. Everything that they kept us from saying. Now we talking and they better be scared. Take from us. Tell us what and who to love. Swear I finally had enough. It's time to rise above. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. I said, hey, down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Communism's dead to me because they killed our families. Fuck the CCP.
Communism sucks, hard for me to give a fuck. Try to tell them and they try to keep it on the hush. Middle finger up, turn into a fist. They wanna keep the poor so they never rich. If you wanna see the future, look into the past. Been a century of silence, we gon' take it back. I'm just stating facts, tell you how it is. Ain't no way to change shit if we don't resist.
Take from us. Tell us what and who to love. Swear I finally had enough. It's time to rise above. Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. I said,
我从爆料第一天就说，你的恐惧，你的傲慢，你的行动就是我消灭你的证据。这是你我维护正义的必须，这是你我维护正义的必须。我们一定会赢的，这是上天的旨意。
Take down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. I said, hey, down the CCP. Take down the CCP. Communism's dead CCP.
你完了，共产党！你完了，共产党！你完了，共产党！